Get it started. All right. So, welcome to Ignite session number 12. If you guys don't know who I am, I want you to know that my name is Fred Howard. I am the assistant team leader here, and I serve on the ALC, and I'm celebrating 20 years in this office.
And the
So,
social media master.
you know what I see. Oh, good, and you guys are welcome if you want to, just to let you know. I'm doing a class today at 5. I'm launching my 3.0 mastery, so if you want to come in and proctor and see what it's like, you guys can do that, but you guys can. Okay, so warning, you must comply with TCPA rules and regulations. When it comes to texting and calling, you want to make sure that you are compliant. Okay, and also, we also have to put these things up there so that you'll know what they're about. So, okay, in session 11, you discovered the tools for converting leads into context and a profitable business. Today, in the third session of lead follow-up, talking about strengthening relationships, we're going to extend your knowledge to include follow-up with context and explore the tools that you can leverage to make systematic follow-ups. I'm going to make sure this is well. Okay. So what is your response about your success systems? How have you guys been in your success systems?
As in like with command and adding them, or?
Well, you know what you, at the end of every lesson, gets 10, your 10 5 ones, you know, your social media, you know, 10 likes,
Yes.
5 comments.
And one share or
lesson.
comment,
How have you guys been on doing that?
Yes, I've been, since last week, I did my Instagram and I started to do the posts and liking.
Okay.
I got with Keller, like, started following Keller Williams.
Okay.
And, like yesterday, my thing was with him. They did a big announcement for him, like welcome to us. So, yeah.
Remember, real estate is a contact sport, so you've got to get out there and start making, and that's the purpose of the success system, on how you communicate. Because guess what? You guys learned this in real estate school. No contacts, no business. Okay, so let's do this. Okay. So by the end of the day, we're going to be able to apply the follow-up principles that you've learned for leads to contacts. You're going to create a 36 convert touch plan and design your MOFR messages that generate interest. I want you to start thinking about what you're going to learn today, and let's consider the questions that we might have and what we'd like to learn more about, okay? So those are the things. We're going to establish the mindset. Gary Keller said in Shift, know that growth comes from clarity, priorities, and focus. Clarity, priorities, and focus. The first two are thinking steps. First, we need clarity around the goal and priorities, and then we get into action. Okay? Have you guys ever seen this before? Okay. Now, the lead generation and database model. How many were here yesterday? Well, Tuesday, right? Tuesday was your last class? Okay. On Tuesday, you worked around the tools to convert leads. And as a reminder, we prospect and market to bring leads and contacts into our database. So this is basically your business in regards to real estate. This is the way it works, okay? Prospecting and marketing, that's your lead generation. Remember, lead generation is what percentage of your business?
All of it.
Lead generation is what percent of your business?
All of it. 90%.
Lead generation is your what percent? Is your 20%. Remember the 80-20 principle? Okay. The 80-20 20% of what you do, listen to this, 20% of what you do is going to give you 80% of your income. Okay? Your 80% is creating flyers. Your 80% is working on your website. Your 20% is lead generation. Lead generation is prospecting, marketing. What is that defined as? Prospecting and marketing. Prospecting and marketing, it's defined as getting yourself out there and letting people know who you do, who you do, who you are, and what you do. Okay? So every day, how many people today, I'm going to put y'all on the spot, how many people today that you saw outside of this office knows you're a realtor? Every day, you need to go up to somebody and say, listen, my coach told me I need to tell somebody, so I just need to tell you that I'm a realtor. You understand?
Yeah.
So you blame it on me. Blame it on the office. Just tell them, listen, I'm just trying to get out there to let you know that I'm here. I was in a coaching on this past Tuesday, and there was an intern in there. And the intern's responsibility was to get on the phone and call people to get them to get into Billie Jean marketing, Billie Jean is marketing, okay? And he said the simple thing to do is just say, and guess how old he was? 16. And he said the simple thing to do is be transparent. Hey, my name is such and such. I'm only 16 years old, but I'm interning at this place and I need to make a call for your business. Can you help me? You know, so you can be, as a realtor, what harm is it going to do? You calling somebody, hey, I'm in coaching right now. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Realty. And my coach told me I needed to reach out to somebody and tell them about real estate. And I thought about you. So can I tell you a little bit about what I do? You understand? That's all in the top part. Because when you prospect and market, it turns into your database. Leads from relationships, which is your sphere of influence. Okay? And then you have your contacts to strengthen existing relationships. Those turn into prepare contacts for conversion, meaning you are constantly communicating with them with a plan, smart plan that's in command. And then you have the client referral. You have new and repeat, and then you have referrals. Those are important. Leads are the people that yes?
Excuse me to interrupt, but I don't think your screen is shared.
No. Thank you. No,
I can share that. Thank you very much.
Let me see here. Hold on. Share.
Do you need help, Fred?
I think I got it now. Do you see it now?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Let me just open it now. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Show from current slide. Are you good?
Yep.
Okay, great. Okay. So, now how do you get the, okay, there we go. Okay, so, leads are the people that you have contact information for and you have a way to follow up with them. Contacts are the people who know you and you have reciprocal conversations with them. These are the people who expect to hear from you. They know who you are and that you are an agent who can help them with their real estate needs. There's a common thing that you'll always hear me in all of my trading classes, whether it's written or not written, okay? There's only 3 ways to make money in real estate, okay? 3 ways. I call it the WPG, okay? The WPG is Wait for it, pay for it, or go after it. Those are the only three ways that you can make money in real estate. And guess what? Here's the wrench thrown in it. You need all three of those to be successful. Okay? The waiting for it is your sphere of influence. They know you, they know, like, and trust you. However, they may not be doing business right now. But as long as you stay in front of them, eventually they become a referral source. You can pay for it. You can pay for marketing companies, you can pay for Instagram, you can pay for Facebook, you can pay for Zillow, Realtor.com, not advisable, but you can pay for it to get leads to come to you. Or you can go after it. Going after it means putting in the footwork. Footwork meaning going, knocking on doors, picking up the phone and calling, making sure you go to events to let people know who you are in real estate. Okay, so that is important. Remember the third C in the WI4C2Ts. The third C in the WI4C2Ts is communication. Seek first to understand. If we have approached our conversations with contacts with this maxim in mind, we understand their needs and we can communicate with our contacts based on their needs. Okay? Now, here you go. We already talked about the lead capture. How are you going to capture them, number one? Number two, you have the right to have a one-on-one conversation with your leads. When you have that one-on-one conversation, you have engaged in a two-way conversation, and the value-based relationship has begun. Oops, where am I? Okay. Wait a minute. Where am I? Where did I go? Okay, there we go. Has begun. Okay? Remember, it is very important that communication happens in your real estate business. Now, in Top Agent at KW says, focus on building relationships and take market share. Okay? How do you build relationships? What did you do before real estate? I know you're young. You just got out of high school, right?
Nah, well, like 4 years ago, but
Uh-huh.
I managed a Shake Shack in the Lone Mall.
Okay. All right. You know what? I like Shake Shack. The burgers are too small for me. I finished them too quick. I'm sorry. I told my wife, I said, I'm sorry, they're good burgers, but they're gone. And so, all right. I eat a lot, but it doesn't show. Okay. Okay. So in that, you still develop relationships. You take market share because now they're going to remember who you are.
I used to manage, I still kind of manage real estate.
You create relationships with the people that are around you. Okay. What kind of car are we going to get? Huh? Are we still doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, see, you create relationships. Okay. What about you?
Working with Delta Airlines as customer service.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do you know Mimi?
It's not important, but she's working in the flights. I work in the counter.
Oh, okay. Yes, she's retired. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do? We start with, Mary, what did you do before real estate?
Basically, I was with in a jewelry company.
So you got the wedding rings, the bling bling and all of that, right stuff, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Austin, what about you? Go ahead and unmute. Okay, you're just sitting in? Okay, gotcha. Okay, so today's conversation is tomorrow's transaction. That is what you have to keep in mind. Today's transaction is today's conversation is tomorrow's transaction. If we establish a mindset around follow-up with our contacts, if your database is a garden, then your leads are going to need are seeds. Your contacts are plants, and your conversion is your harvest. What do you think about the expression on the slides on today. How does it affect your mindset? If you don't water your leaves, guess what? They're going to dry. Anybody have plants in their house? I mean, real plants. I'm not talking about the plastic plants.
That,
You know, the real plants, you know, you take care of them, don't you? You walk past them, you put your finger in the dirt to make sure that the dirt is moist, right? You don't just keep, especially if you see a little yellow in the leaves, right? Okay, so how do you make sure you have a harvest large enough to fund your big life? How do you do that?
You look at the top producing agents and you put in the same amount of work that they put in, ask them what they do.
True,
Copy and
true.
paste.
But remember this, do we have the same amount of time in a day? We don't? We don't have the same 24 hours?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we had the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
It depends on what you do with those 24 hours, right? Because consistency will always beat out, what word I'm looking for? Consistency will always beat out longevity. Okay? If you are consistent in what you're doing, yeah, I have 20 years in the business. But if you're consistent in what you're doing, guess what? Can you outpace me? You can outpace me if you're consistent. And what do you need to be consistent on?
lead generation.
And what percentage of that is your business? 20%. If you're consistent in your 20%, you can outpace the highest paid agent in the office. And you can become rookie of the year. How many want to be rookie of the year? Okay. How many are committed to be rookie of the year? Look, when Gary Keller said in Chip, once you meet your new contacts, you either do business with them immediately or you don't. Either way, once you've met them, you put them in your database and stay in touch with them forever. Remember, what did I say? 3 ways: wait for it, pay for it, or go after it. Okay, this is the second C of our WI4C2Ts, commitment in all things. We are committed to staying in emotional proximity with our contacts. Okay, you got to be committed to that. Now, in order to be successful at nurturing relationships, you've got to understand your goals. Got to understand your goals. You got to identify them, understand them. Okay, take a look at this graph and compare it to the wave graph where every person in your database is on the wave of being ready to buy. In this graph, we have the lead generation phase on the left, where you're gathering and storing leads rather quickly. In fact, you can generate leads in days or weeks. How long do you think it takes to get a lead?
100, 200 calls.
Really?
It depends.
Say it again.
I mean, it depends
On what?
on what you're doing. Like,
What you're doing. That's right. Because guess what? I'm not a prophet, but everyone in this room and online can get a lead today. Not some of you, all of you have the ability to get a lead today. Do you believe me? Okay, as long as you believe me. So now you have your lead generation, what you're doing. Then you have lead follow-up. That's why it's important that when you get the lead, you don't just get the lead and say, yeah, I got a lead. You got to put them in your database and you've got to attach them to a smart plan. You don't have to do the work. All the work is done for you. Can you believe that? All you got to do is get the lead. The rest of the work is taken care of. Meaning, we have a smart plan that's a 36 touch. That means that if I meet you, I can put you in my database, and within a year, I'm going to touch you. Well, not physically touch you. I'm going to touch you. to touch you 36 times. Do you think you're gonna remember me after I touch you 36 times?
Yeah.
You're gonna remember somebody. Either you're gonna tell me to stop, okay? That sounds so weird, yeah. I don't know. And Stephanie's listening, so that's kind of like, wow, okay, I know she's. Lead generation, lead follow turns into lead conversion and turns into a transaction. It is that simple. Okay? The work you do or do not do has nothing to do with your productivity coach. It has nothing to do with Keller Williams Realty. It has everything to do with you. Everything. Everything. Okay? That turns into a transaction. Now, identify the goals, convert contacts to close business. The goal from session 11 was to convert leads to appointments. And we learned that not every lead is able, ready, or willing to meet. And when we encounter the folks who are not ready for an appointment, we use a follow-up system to stay in contact until they're ready for an appointment. Now, if you had to guess, how many times have you agreed to be in someone's database when you weren't ready to make a purchase?
Like personally?
Like
Yeah, personally?
How many times now you're in financial, right? How many times have some of your clients said, I'm not ready yet, but catch me at another time?
Rare, to be honest.
Rare? Okay. Okay. You're in cars. How many times the window shopping and
Every single day.
yeah. Okay. What did you say? What did I
I
miss?
think a lot of time they will do that.
Mm-hmm.
Catch me later, I don't know.
And guess what? I'm the recipient of that also. I'm the recipient of it because I have this guy that calls me all the time. And then this is what he said. Can I put you on my calendar for next week on the such and such a day? I said, absolutely. And then he called me. I said, oh, you know what? I'm really busy right now. Can I put you on my calendar for the next? Do you think I remember that guy?
Yeah. You know about
And
his
he
number.
repeated, yeah.
And he just keeps on and keeps on and keeps on. But I'm not ready to spend the money, so I'm gonna keep on saying, you understand?
But
So-
catch you
He's gonna catch me.
when you
Right.
have the money. You're
Mhm.
like, oh,
Let me give you an example. You all see me on Instagram, right? So that was a hefty bill that I had to pay that I paid to get someone else to do my stuff because I know if I did it, it wouldn't get done. Okay, so he called me and he was like, hey, let's do this. This is what is gonna happen. I said, well, wait a minute. I said, I'm about to close a deal and let me get back to you when I close that deal. He said, you know what? No. He said, no, Frederick, you're just not going to do that. Cases show that you're just gonna keep on putting me on. Why don't we make a deal that you put a little bit of deposit on there, a little bit of skin in the game, and then we move from there? I said, well, go ahead. All it's going to do is do this, and guess what I did? Guess what I did?
You did it.
I did it, okay? I did it. And that is because they just kept on going, okay? So now, I give you 20 seconds to think about these answers. Raise your hand if you've ever signed up. Yes. There you go, another great box. See, another great box. How you doing, Simon?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing good. Welcome back. Thanks. We just missed you.
Yeah, I was at the Tom Ferry. event.
Okay, how did it go?
It was good, really good. Next year, you guys should try it. It's awesome. I mean, it goes all the way to, and I'm sorry, it goes
No,
all
go
the way
ahead.
to 5 o'clock, but a lot of people that I've known in the last 30 years were there.
Mhm.
So it was really good. Yeah.
And guess what you were doing? You were talking about Keller Williams Realty, weren't you?
I was.
Isn't that right?
Actually,
Mhm.
I actually was. I have an appointment with a producer who are partners and they're small brokerage. So hopefully, I can get them to join KW.
You always tell business, it's all about what? Lead generation, right?
That's right.
That's how you fill your pipeline. Hey, he just walked in, he didn't know what we were doing today, right? Thank you, I'll pay you when I get, I'll pay you when I get. So, listen, now, raise your hand if you've ever signed up for an email list or text message for a discount code that you didn't use the moment you signed up. You never signed up for anything?
No, I mean, I've signed up, but I've used it like right away.
Well, let me guarantee you, in real estate, you're gonna, there are a whole lot of emails that you're gonna get.
Oh,
You're gonna raise your hand, okay? How many of you, by the show of hands, ended up eventually buying something after receiving multiple messages? Yeah, okay. Now, huh?
Paying my tickets.
Pay your ticket. So, when you identify your goals, you convert leads and contacts to close business. In order to do that, you have to stay top of mind. Okay? You've got to stay top of mind. We've talked about mind share before and how important it is in converting leads to contacts and contacts to appointments. So you take a look at these stats. Review. NAR stats on the slide are 74% to 75% of all buyers and sellers spoke with just one agent before choosing them to represent them. One agent. Okay? Only 15% of them even considered more than one agent. So there's an interesting thing. I have a coach and he said, so when you're going to listen, I was bold when I said this. I felt good when I said it because it came out real quick, you know? He said, well, how many agents are you competing against when you go out listening to us? I said, oh, I don't compete. I said, I don't compete. You know, anybody else who's going after me, it's a non-issue. Okay? And you have to have that mindset. You can't have a mindset that, hey, listen, I'm going on a listed appointment and guess what? Fred's going there before me. Oh, no. Oh, no. Fred's a non-issue. That's the way it has to be. Okay? Either you're going to get it or you're not. There's only two ways that it can go. There's no maybe. You're either going to get it or you're not. You have to set that mindset. And that mindset has to be set. Okay? So, buyers, 2 agents, 15%, everyone 10%, 1 agent, 75%. What is that telling you?
They usually go with the first person.
And why aren't you the first agent?
You should always.
Because you're not on top of mind,
And why aren't you top of mind?
because you're not contacting.
Or you're not touching people.
Yeah, you're not following up with them.
Right. I said it right. He said it. To touch people, okay? You know, maybe we need to get a t-shirt and say, I'm a toucher. So, remember, it's a mind share positioning, number of agents. You got to understand that. Now.
Oh, because you admitted somebody to.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, and then leverage the mind share for referral business. Our clients never stop being contacted. We continue to nurture our relationships with them after the transaction to remain in emotional proximity and to help them share our value proposition. Okay? When, just like you said, you reached out to him or you congratulated him on his welcome to KW, okay? Same thing when I got my thing that said, you know, congratulations on capping.
Yeah, you told me.
I didn't leave that on South Bay social media. I shared that. And out of sharing that, I have 3 appointments for buyers, okay? Already, because of that post. You see how important that is?
Mhm.
Letting people know who you are. Guess what my next stop is going to be? You see, on my Facebook page, and I'm oscillating on this, on my Facebook page, it says, if you think something about whispering, if you think you're not talking loud enough, try sitting in a room with a mosquito. It says something like that. But I'm about to change my banner that just says your home sold in 30 days or less, or I'll pay cash for it. Because guess what I'm finding out? Even after 20 years in the business, there are people that I see every day at church that know me as a pastor that don't know I do real estate. That is a sad excuse for a realtor. Yes, I'm talking about myself. You understand what I mean? So now I'm just gonna be bold about it. You know,
Reaching out.
yeah, I mean, my struggle was I do so much that I wanna reflect everything that I do. You know, and I still may say pastor, father, you know, realtor, marketer, coach, you know, and have different things like that, just so that people know who I am. I know you say after 20 years, people don't know who you are. Yes, I just need more people to know who I am. Okay? What are some of your ahas that you went through and what we've talked about so far?
Wait for it, pay for it, go after it.
Wait for it, pay for it, or go after it. WPG. All right. Anything else?
Found out that I get for it. I don't like paying. I do it myself.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right. Okay. So now, what about you, Omer? What did you get out of it?
You actually made me think a lot about the word relationship and where it comes from. The word relate, and it always like I'm looking at relationship in a different way now. Like I should always find something to relate with the person I'm talking to. That's how it stuck me. Like
Absolutely. Absolutely. And do you have something in common with everybody that you talk to?
No.
You sure do.
Yeah, you should. We're humans.
You sure do. Oh, it's gonna be a long. Just imagine this. You know, it's gonna be a long day. Just imagine if him and I were connected, and we had to walk to, what's that coffee shop that's on the corner?
Copy me?
Coffee Bean.
Yeah.
Just imagine us walk. Just imagine this. Imagine this. Me and him leaving this room and walking to the Coffee Bean and not saying a word.
Mhm. Awkward.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah.
That's why, believe it or not, I don't like driving in a car with people, with just one person. Because I have to create a conference. It's so awkward in sitting in the car. How many times have you sat in the car with somebody and it said absolutely nothing?
A couple times.
Rare.
My little brothers, when I used to take my little brother to school, he used to say a word, or my other little brother doesn't really talk at all.
You know, I'm not talking about the kids. I'm talking about how you do.
Friend.
I'm talking about a friend, you know, the other folk. But you gotta have a plan, okay? You've already created the foundation for 36 to convert. And when they are designed, you have 19 to connect touch plan that you saw in session number 11. Your 36 to convert plan is comprehensive because it's different layers of input, okay? How will you know what your contacts value? How do you know what they value?
Asking him.
Really? Just try talking to them. Because what they talk about most is what they value. Okay? And it's sort of like, okay, give you an instance. Okay, he's not in his office. Now, I went to Carl's Jr. today. And I meant to tell him because, you know, I'm a marketer. I'm always looking at things. And so I sit my burger on the counter. And so Chris and I are talking and he said, "Where's my burger?" And I said, it's coming. It's on the way. He said, "Well, what did I order?" I said, "It's whatever you ordered." He said, "Oh, okay, I ordered a famous star with no onions." Okay. And I'm going to get that because that's what I'm going to get. Guess what my burger was? A famous star, no onions. So in him seeing what I took out of my bag, he observed it and he used it. You understand? So when you're walking and talking with someone, you are observing. It's just like, the security guards that are at the stores, their job is not to touch you. Their job is not to hold you back. Their only job is to observe and report. Okay? So with you as realtors, you've got to observe and use it to your benefit. Okay? If you're talking and you see a carriage in the car, oh, you have children. Could be grandchildren, but for one, either the kids just got out of the car seat or they're still in the car seat. Okay? Understand, you're shopping, you're seeing the things, not being nosy on what people pick up. But of course, standing in line, you're gonna see some stuff. Don't talk about the stuff that you should talk about that they're carrying in their hands, because sometimes they're trying to hide it, okay? So, but you want to understand how you devise that plan. So, you want to design every touch to provide value. Here's the key. Can I tell y'all this? If you all are looking for the money, you've already lost. Did you hear me? If you're looking for the money, you've already lost. Meaning you can put yourself in trouble because you're looking for the money and you're going to do everything you can to get that money. That means you may be unethical to get that money. But if you hold relationship, that is what's going to put money in your pocket. So you want to communicate with your database. 19 to connect, 36 to convert. You have 4 touches, quarterly phone calls. Now, command will tell you, Frederick, you need to pick up the phone and call your client. You just need to do what command tells you to do.
So talking about command, because I'm starting to add them and create the plans, but is there like a simpler way to create a plan where it's like, okay, every quarter? Because right now I'm manually putting.
The plans are already created. Okay. So if you go into Smart Plans and you go into search templates and you put in quarterly, just type in quarterly, and it'll give you all the smart plans that are considered quarterly.
So it'll give you like everybody that we should be calling within that quarter. So beginning.
It'll like remind you.
It'll remind you.
Touch them every 3 weeks, right?
No, every quarter, every 3 months. Yeah. So you have 4
Can I ask
touches.
something? Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
So when should we move somebody from 19 touches plan to 36 touches? Like, how do you understand that? Okay, now it's time for them to be in this category.
Okay, so it can move pretty swiftly based on what happens between the 4 touches, the 12 touches, and the 2 touches, and the 1 touch. Okay, so what can happen is if you're in the 19 to connect, and let's get hypothetically, we have 2 different types of people. We have people who are not connecting. That means that they're going to stay in the 19 to connect. You're going to give them 4 calls. You're going to give them 12 touches, meaning you're going to have them on the 1 newsletter a month, 2 touches with some promotional, and then 1 annual event. And they still don't reach out to you. But then you also have someone that, say, in the 19 to connect on the 2, because remember, the 4 touches is, we'll make it even January to March, April to June, July to September, October to December, okay? So the 12 touches are going to be there no matter what, okay? Well, I'm sorry, the 4 touches are going to be there when you need them to be, unless they jump over into the 36. Because remember, the 19 to connect would be to who?
To people you haven't, like.
The people who are your sphere of influence. Remember we talked about wait for it, pay for it, to go after it? The 19 to connect is the wait for it people. That's your sphere of influence. Those are the people that know, like, and trust you, but are not necessarily doing business right now. Those are the people that have the ability to refer you business. even if they don't do business with you. See, because remember, Omar, when I'm talking to you, I'm not really talking to you. When I'm talking to you as a client or as a lead, I am actually talking to you to reach out to your sphere of influence. Okay? You got it? Because if I talk directly to you, I limit my ability to touch your,
One person.
yeah. Mhm. Did that answer your question?
So the 36 to convert would
Yes.
be people who are ready sooner, I guess, or like within a time frame.
Yeah, 36 to convert are people who would have said, hey, I may be thinking about buying in or selling in a certain amount of time.
Gotcha.
And you got to notice the overlap between the 19 and the 36. You look at the overlap, the 4 quarterly calls in the 19 to connect can be the same quarterly calls that you use in your 36 to convert. But if you already have someone on a smart plan to receive 2 promotional direct touches from your 19 to connect, you should just add 2 more to your existing plan. Okay? Because remember, it is a plan because you're talking to those that are in your database. And then 1 to cement a high value touch that solidifies a relationship that you have established and opens the door for future interactions. So, use the 6 connection questions. Include a morpher, make offer for immediate response. Our messages for the 36 touches should do 2 things. 1, it should build your connection to the contact by getting to know their needs and their wants. And then 2, to elicit a response from the contact that puts you into dialogue with them as quickly as possible. We call messages that do the latter a MOFR, which is make offer for immediate response. Now, what are the 6 connection questions that were covered in section 11? Y'all know what they were? Who are they?
Who, what, when, where?
Yeah, the 5 Ws.
The 5 Ws.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going back to elementary school now. See, you never lose anything. What do they want or need to do? Where do they want or need to do it? Why do they want or need to do it? When do they want or need to do it? And how they plan to do it. And your morpher can be a direct one designed to get a response from someone who's ready to buy or sell with you now. Or it can be an indirect offer or message that's not directly about buying or selling, however, does help build relationship with the content. Okay? Take for instance, my make offer for immediate response was when I started in business, when I was just like you all, just starting off. The class was called, instead of Ignite, it was called 443. It was called Camp 443. Okay? When I was in there, my MOFR, make offer for immediate response, was 6 letters. Okay? All it was, it identified, I had a plan, it identified people who were in foreclosure, and I sent a letter to them. And I was giving them an offer for immediate response. It was just telling them, hey, I know where you are. This is what I can do. Give me a call. Okay? That's simple. Sounds simple, doesn't it? Started in April of 2005. And by December 31st, I had closed 15 deals. With letters, okay? You want to put yourself in a place of immediate response. And then you develop your 36 touch plan. Now, we talk about developing your 36 touch plan, it says 10 minutes, but of course, we're not going to deal with that right now, okay? But I am gonna read. your touch plan messages that have worked well for you, okay? If you do lunch and learns on homeownership every June for National Homeownership Month, tell participants how you created the event and source vendors to sponsor the lunch. I just read something. It should have raised a flag in your head. Did it raise a flag in anyone's head, what I just said? Flag in anyone's head, it just rhymed. Flag in anyone's head, what I just said?
About the lunch and learn?
Uh-huh. I said something that's a possibility that you can use for lead generation.
Oh,
That's happening when?
in June.
In June, National Homeowners Month. Okay? So goal setting to the now. Plan your touches. Of course, we're not gonna do that, but the SMART plans are there now. When you go to, this is what you asked for.
Yeah.
The SMART plans, when you go into SMART plans and you search, you can either search by SMART plan name, you can filter it, because remember this, here you have the ones that are created by KW, and then you have ones that are created by KW agents. Okay? It's a collaborative place. Now, here's something that you can look at. It tells you how many steps, 3 steps. How long is it? 15 duration, 1 touch. Okay? 91 duration, 1 touches. Okay? And it gives you all of the steps. So you want to go to
15 days long or 91
Right,
days long.
right. Okay, so that's where you want to go to find out how to get those SMART plans to curate your 36 touches for your contacts. Okay, any ahas on this? That's okay.
Just because I'm struggling with it.
Yeah, and always remember, if you're struggling with command, make sure you access Scott Leroy Marketing. Okay, because Scott Leroy Marketing does all the training on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, and they are all recorded. So all you have to do is go to go to Scott Leroy Marketing and just type in SMART plans. And it'll give you a step-by-step. Okay? Each day at Ignite, you grow in how you think, feel, act, and implement what you've learned. And from learning and ahas, you move forward to the achievement of building your big life. And that's what we're here for, to achieve big goals. And so are we finished with this one?
Mhm.
Really? That was too
That was a
fast.
short one, this one.
Wow. Well, I guess you guys can get some information from me then. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through this. And then I'm just going to open it up for you, Omer, Austin, and everybody in here to ask me any burning questions that you have.
Yeah.
Okay? And I promise you, I'm gonna give you an answer. So, how has your thinking changed and what ideas or mindsets are new for you through this class?
I feel like the way that I've been calling my SOI, I could change how I'm bringing in the conversation to kind of act a little bit more professional and let them know that I'm serious about what I'm doing. So they can know that I'm not just calling them for like a, hey, how are you? But more like a, call me back when somebody wants to buy, rent, or sell around you. So I feel like that's one thing that I'm going to take and that's kind of changed the way that I'm thinking about the way that I'm doing things right now. And I need to get my business card so I can start standing outside of somewhere and just.
Okay, now you know you already have business cards, right? You know you already have business cards, right? Tell me you all have downloaded your KW mobile app.
Yeah,
your phone.
command?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know your business card is on command.
No, I did not know that.
So if you open your app, go to the top where your name is, on the left-hand side,
My business.
my business card. So now when someone comes up and says, hey, do I have your card? You pull that
Yeah.
up, you let them scan it, and guess what? They have your information.
I might just print it on my shirt.
Yeah, you can do that too.
When it comes to your website, I haven't really like got to editing my website, but I've never really played with a website before. Do you think I should just go straight into it and just start seeing whatever I could just learn and read, or?
So remember, the first thing you do when it's coming with electronic or the online, we go to Scott Leroy, because remember, he set up your website based on you filling out that form when you signed in.
Okay,
Okay, so that's how you got access to all of your information for KW. And all of you have signed up for the DocuSign that's on that email that you got originally, right?
yes.
Because it's all the way to the bottom. But I want it because I don't want you guys to make the mistake of when you're doing your DocuSign that you're trying to do the paid version. DocuSign is free. So on your email that Natalie sent you, that long email, well, not Natalie, but Scott Leroy sent you when he gave you all of your passwords and everything.
Questionnaire.
Scroll, well, the questionnaire is what you filled out. The email that he sent you has all of your passwords, your login information. When you scroll all the way up, DocuSign is on the bottom. Make sure that's how you log into your DocuSign account, okay? What do you feel differently about since you came to class, and what was meaningful for you today?
I can, oh, sorry.
Okay.
I can't see who's talking, so sometimes I just jump in.
No worries, no worries.
No, let the person, and I'll answer it.
So that I got the power that I can give the leads today.
You can get leads today. Okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, Omer.
It's a big aha for me that I need to kind of, even when I'm doing cold calls or calling anybody, to start with the why. And when you said about like why like the 16 years old person was calling this because of they're in an internship and they have to do it. So I don't know, I just thinking maybe if I pick up the phone and say, listen, I need to feed the family, so this is why I'm calling you. I have a family to feed. I don't know, it's just a thought that occurred to me that
create conversation. Laughter always wins. You know, I mean, if you create a when was the last time I did something, but it was like, you know, you just create something, you know, make somebody laugh. That is an automatic icebreaker. Okay. Listen, I got to feed my family, so I need to tell you what I do. Okay. So let me ask you a question. How are your behaviors going to be different moving forward? Now, you guys can tell me a whole lot with your lips, but I'm talking about what are you going to be committed to being consistent at?
I have a lot of conversations on a daily basis, so I'm gonna just throw that in there. I'm a realtor, by the way, and I feel like most people already kind of like talking to me in a sense. So my goal from now on is like all those conversations that I'm having, all these people in the mall that kind of know me, like, oh, JoJo's gonna give us a discount, just kind of lock them into my database, and
that's it.
They might have a granny, auntie, uncle that wants to sell some houses.
That's it.
So I'm gonna just change the goal orientation behind the conversations that I'm having, and not stop wasting my time having these conversations.
All right. Always remember, talking is not wasting your time. Talking is now your gift. Okay. This is your daily success system. Conversations, adding contacts, handwriting notes, your 10-5-1 media engagements, enrichments. Guess what? We do not recreate the wheel. We don't recreate the wheel. So what has been successful with top producing agents is this right here. If you do this on a consistent basis, guess what your coach's job is to do? If you have a coach, if you have a productivity coach, if you have a coach, I have a coach. Guess what their job is to do?
Hold us accountable.
Huh? Yeah, ask you questions, and guess what the questions they're gonna ask you? How many people have you? I knew that was gonna happen. You know how I knew that was gonna happen? Because this always should be the opposite. way.
That's what I kind of figured, I'm like, why is this on this side?
Yeah, that's. Yeah, yeah,
It's kind of like.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, definitely. You understand? You know how much I pay for car coaching?
A lot.
$1,000 a month. You know how often I talk with my coach?
A lot,
Once a month.
1,000 times.
30 minutes a week.
Hmm?
And you guys think you got it bad. Y'all got it made. You got a coach. Okay? So you think you're gonna, equal sacrifice? What if I said, okay, if you don't reach out to 20 people this week, you need to write it. That's when I was going up in real estate. Our coaches said, I need you to write a check to me for $500. Okay? And if you don't do what you said you're going to do, I need you to donate that $500 to KW Cares. Yeah, that's what happened growing up. Yeah. So let's see. This is pretty much.
Are there any smart plans that you like or would recommend using? Because I saw there was a lot, right?
There is a lot, and what I would suggest is go into the smart plans, look at the ones that interest you. But first of all, you know what I would do?
The Scott Leroy thing you told us?
Well, yeah, but what I would do is I would put myself on a smart plan
Let's see how.
See how it works.
to see what it looks like. So you'll know what your clients are getting.
But if it's like a 90-day plan, then it would take 90 days for us.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to initiate it 90 days. You already know what the 90-day plan is gonna be because you're gonna be able to look at the smart plan and just set it. But you put it on you so that at least you can know when your clients get it, at least you'll know what they're getting. So now, everyone, we're at the end, we're early. Any questions any burning questions that you guys have for me outside of Ignite that you want to ask? I make myself available to you. Omer, go ahead.
I spoke to somebody yesterday, seller. He was telling me he's planning to sell some point this year, he told me.
Mhm.
He's like, I'm not ready right now, but I want to. And so I was like, okay, and this is some guy I could never talk to, the cold call.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm gonna follow up with you, I'm gonna give you another call. He's like, yeah, save my number and we'll talk. So he doesn't have a listing agent yet. He's thinking he has to probably do some repairs in his house for it. And so I don't wanna come out, call him today and be like, on it, but I don't wanna wait too long.
So you got his information, right?
His phone number, address, and name. He doesn't have an email address.
Doesn't have an email.
He's older, yeah.
Okay. Did you set up texting on your, did you set up Twilio on your command? You can get a phone number.
Oh, no, I mean, I can text him too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But see, what you want to do is you want to automate. You want to automate a response so that you can set it and forget it
Gotcha.
until he's ready.
Gotcha.
The only caveat there is he doesn't do email. Email would be the easiest.
Yeah.
Okay, but if he has a phone that texts, I would go into smart plans and see texting, seller text, and see what's available there.
Because I was thinking of next week, dropping by his house and a rough report of his
Yeah,
neighborhood.
CMA. A neighborhood report.
Yeah, just, quick something for him to see and look through and know.
So it's hard, it's difficult, but you can look at the smart plan, the seller smart plan, and see what the levels are. and use that as an example, and what you can do physically, go ahead and do it. Don't try and create the system, let the system do it for you. So if it says in 7 days, send an email, he doesn't have an email, so maybe you're gonna print out the letter and mail it.
Okay, okay.
Oh, do you understand what I mean?
Yeah,
So you're just going to adjust. Remember, what's a challenge, you turn into an opportunity. Okay, you always turn your challenges into opportunities. Okay. Omer, go ahead.
I'm just curious, like, what's the one thing you do every day that, like, you would never like let go of? Like one thing, you know?
You really want to know?
Yeah.
I show up.
Oh.
See, and now mind you, I
That's
don't
not
just show
physically.
up physically, but I show up mentally. Okay, so that means the only day, believe it or not, the only day real estate is not on my mind, period, is Sunday.
Is that why you have an office?
Huh?
That's why you actually pay for an office here,
Yeah.
to show up. Doesn't feel like if you, at home, you won't do anything.
I tried at home. But remember, my wife is a stay-at-home wife, okay?
Yeah.
And so then she wants to go to lunch, she wants to go to breakfast, she wants to do this, because, you know, sometimes when you're like that, they believe that you're not doing anything. You know, what I did was I committed at the go-go, Mr. Gadget, is that what it is?
Power Ranger.
Power Ranger, right. Okay. So what I did at the beginning of the year, I made a commitment to myself that I was gonna get up and be out of the house by 7. Okay? And so when I made that commitment to be out of the house by 7, guess what? It didn't happen. But I was still working. Meaning I got up early, I was still working. And then I felt that I was cheating myself. And then my coach reminded me, she said, "What do you do?" She said, "You're a realtor, you have a business, you're a pastor, you have your family." She said, "If you get out of the house by 7, guess what time I'm getting home tonight?
7.
9:30, okay?" She said, "Is it fair for you to get out of the house by 7 and not come home at 9:30? Can't you spend that time with your family in the morning?" Remember, you gotta understand. So for Omer, that one thing is showing up. You have to show up every day in your mind and physically. You know, if it's not physically, it has to be mentally. If it's not mentally, it has to be socially. You're understanding? So that means when I'm out at a restaurant, I'm gonna be talking about real estate. Okay, when I'm in the bank, I'm gonna be talking about real estate. I'm gonna be talking about things that say, you know, what is my go-to? My go-to, I'm not usually a buyer's agent, but I work with a program called NACA. No money down, no mortgage insurance, credit's not an issue, and you purchase up to 4 units. That is my go-to conversation with everybody, and every time I talk, they're like, "Oh, really?" You always want to really in your life. Because then you're talking about something that most people don't know about. Okay, so arm yourself with information, because information is powerful. When you have the information, because the question they're going to ask is, how is the market? The market is great. It just depends on where you are in the market. You understand? Market's great for some. It's great for everybody. It just depends on where they are. You know? What do you foresee happening? Well, you know, people are buying and selling real estate every single day. It just depends on where you are. You understand? So 2007, when the market crashed, a lot of people were selling their properties. I had to deal with the in foreclosure. I had to deal with it. So I had 2 options: sell it or stay. Guess what I did? I stayed. See, you got to understand, in real estate, when you give people options, You're becoming the authority. When I just tell you, no, you need to sell, that's not an option. When you give people options, you set yourself in a place to win. Okay? Anybody else? Any other questions?
What did your first 90 days after you got your exam look like?
My first 90 days after which exam? Because I failed 4 times. So you gotta figure out. So let me share with you. So going into real estate, I still remember, and I still can picture this in my office. I had an office at home because I still had a business before that. You know, I had started doing real estate before I even got my license. There was this company called Home Gain. Home Gain was a program where you would register and homeowners would go on, and then when a homeowner said they wanted to sell, you would send in what you can do, your mortgage, you send that in, and if they choose you, then, so I started doing that even before I got my license. Okay, it wasn't right, because I knew I couldn't do anything, but I just wanted to do it, so. Of course, it took me, so after every exam, by the time I got home, I reapplied for the exam. Okay, by the time I got home, I reapplied for the exam. By the time I got home, I reapplied for the exam. So when I got my license, the first thing I did was I went around the corner to a brokerage that I was eyeing. It was a drinking age company called Century 21. And I let my license sit there. They told me, they said, okay, sit there and wait for the phone to ring. And I sat there and waited for the phone to ring, and the phone would ring. Somebody would say, I want to go see a property. I would say, okay, meet me there. They never showed up. That happened about 2 or 3 times. And then it was around the time my wife's birthday, and we went out to dinner, and somebody told me about KW. And so that next Monday, I was at KW. Okay. I drowned myself in the training that was there. Literally, everything that was available, I took advantage of it. Remember, KW you got a business in a box, okay? And so I started going to the Camp 443 trainings, and then I started, talking to people. Somebody said, because I came up with the questions you guys had, the person who was mentoring me, I asked the question, I said, well, what if I go out there and they ask me how many homes have I sold? Okay, you guys might want to write this one down because this one is a doozy. It's 20 years and it's still good. Okay, really, it's gonna make you go. Okay. I asked my coach. I said, "What do I say if they ask me how many houses have I sold?" You know what he told me to say? He said, "You say there's not a house that I haven't sold." See, she's looking at me like, what?
That's good.
Listen, there's not a house that I haven't sold. Now, let me ask you a question. Did I lie?
No,
Because 1,
it's
there's not a house that I haven't sold. Number 2, there's not a house that I haven't sold. So, and I remember I took a listing on Hoover. And I was sitting at the table. The husband was standing behind me. The wife was sitting at the table right here. I had the contract here. I met them on Imperial and Crenshaw at a store. Okay, because I was what? Talking. Okay? She sat there and she said, well, Mr. Howard, how many houses have you sold? I said, there's not a house I haven't sold. So let's get this listing agreement signed. Guess what? That ended the conversation. We got the listing agreement signed and we moved on. Okay? So if anybody asks you, how many houses have you sold? There's not a house that you haven't sold. So let's get this deal done. And you've got to be confident with it. You don't want to say, oh, there's not a house that you got to be confident with it. There's not a house that I haven't sold. Okay? Y'all got some good questions. Good questions. Any other questions?
I sometimes like, because you were mentioning the family and getting out of the house at 7. So for me, like I used to I used to be this person that would literally like sometimes leave the house at 6:30 or 6, even before the traffic started back home, because I'm coming from KW, Turkey, by the way. So we had a lot of traffic going on. And at some point, so after I got married, I understood that no, I'd rather actually have breakfast with my wife before leaving. So I'd rather like wait and have this breakfast, because this is why I'm doing all of this, to have these moments where I sit and have breakfast sometimes with her. So this actually made me postpone going out. So what do you think of this? What are your thoughts on this? It doesn't mean that I wasn't doing work, but I just changed maybe a little bit of how I do things.
Excellent, because remember, what does Keller Williams say? Family first, then business, family first.
God first.
God, I'm sorry, thank you. God first, family, then business. Okay? So whatever you believe in comes first, then your family, then your business. Okay? That's the thing that grabbed you. Though, if you understand hierarchy, that is what builds your business. So that's important to you. Just make sure, because remember, busy work is not always productive work. Okay? Just because you're busy does not mean that you're productive. So you want to make sure that your work that you do is productive. Every moment that you have is a lead generation moment, even when you are with your wife at breakfast. Okay? Because can I tell you something? Y'all spouses don't know what you do. I'm a witness to that. Okay? I'm in business doing real estate. The house next door to me is for sale. Sign on it that says for sale. I get home, my wife says, "Ooh, there were some people going in that house. Are they supposed to do that?" Yes. I said, "Did they have an agent with them?" "I don't know." See, because your wife has to help you, saw some people sitting there looking. I said, "Well, go out there and talk to them, And then one time at a school, this is how important it is for you to talk to your spouses and your significant others. My wife's at school. She works at school. One of the people at the school says, "Your husband's a realtor, right?" She said, "Yes." She says, "I need to sell my house. Can you give him my number?" She said, "Absolutely." That was at 9 o'clock in the morning. Got the phone number at 4:30 in the afternoon. When she handed it to me, guess what the first thing I did? I picked up the phone and I called them. Guess what they told me?
I gave you.
"We found someone else. Thank you for calling." That is so, you've got to understand, it's the speed to lead. That's how important it is. If they don't get you right away, guess what? They are going to the next person.
Did you put a sign out there in front of your house?
No, I did the next best thing. I got my back window wrapped with a big picture of me smiling, saying Fred Howard at Keller. So when I parked in the driveway, everybody knew. Now I'm really trying this. I'm really thinking about putting a sign on my garage, so that people will know, okay? So making yourself visible, make sure your busy work is productive work, and making sure your spouses know who you are, what you do, and what it means to them. Okay? What it means to them is basically finances. It does. People say, I'm in real estate because I want to help people. No, you're not. You're in real estate because you want to make some money. Be real. Okay?
Money, money, money.
Okay.
You can do both.
Huh?
You can do both.
Yes, exactly. you all for stopping by and sharing on today. I hope, yes, sir.
I did have a question.
Uh,
I might have a customer that wants to do the knockout program.
Okay,
I was gonna ask you, how do I set them up to, so they can start doing that?
well, first of all, you just send them to the NACA website to register, because you can't do anything with them until they actually take the class. You also wanna, again, you wanna stay in contact with them, whether you do a buyer representation agreement with them now, or, you know, later, you just wanna make sure that you stay.
On this program, I'm sorry.
No,
It's called NACA, N-A-C-A. Neighborhood Association Corporation of America, yeah. It's a home buyer program. Yeah. Okay. Well, all right, everyone, I want to thank you all for joining. I appreciate you all's time, and I hope that you all got something of value on today. Okay? All right, then you all take care, be prosperous, and make it happen. Thank you guys for joining us.